In 2008, in the midst of the market turmoil, FedEx actually decided to embark on expansion strategies and then eyeing out South Africa. Tell us about establishing operations in South Africa and why it is relatively key for you to be in this market.
Well, first of all, South Africa is part of the overall strategy. So since 2008, we've opened operations in 45 locations in 24 countries. And we looked at South Africa, and this is a strong market, stable political environment, the largest economy in Africa, and it was just the next step for us in terms of our development.
With regards to it being the gateway into the rest of the African continent, is this the strategy going forward? Is this going to be the target?
Certainly. The first stage is to develop here in Johannesburg and then to develop on forward from there.
You also have operations in Europe, Latin America, Middle East and Asia. Tell us about the freight system at this point in time and whether you believe there's going to be synergies between the new operations in which you've opened.
Well, absolutely. With globalization, there's really a push-pull in terms of shipping and consignees. So what happens is the system will only feed itself. So the operations in Asia feed South Africa. The operations in Europe feed South Africa. The operations in Europe feed Asia and vice versa.
With regards to the kind of business that you're expecting in South Africa, give us a sense of your targets and your expectations.
Well, the expectation here is to grow very aggressively. We believe it's a very good market. We have several key differentiators because we are FedEx. We're a global brand with great recognition and a very solid customer base. So the expectation for South Africa is that we will aggressively grow the business. And the expectation for Africa is that we will look at markets that make sense. And as those markets make sense, we'll continue to expand.
With regards to this being the first step, of course, FedEx offers a variety of services for its consumers. South Africa obviously just experiencing the freight forwarding solutions. Give us an indication of the kind of targets that you have put in place to become all-inclusive going forward.
Well, in terms of the services we provide air freight services, ocean freight services, customs brokerage services, distribution services. So if you look at FedEx Trade Networks, we're really a one-stop shop in terms of looking at a customer supply chain and optimizing that customer supply chain.
How does South Africa fit overall in the global expansion strategy? You alluded to the fact that you've obviously opened up new operations across the globe. Where does South Africa fit in?
Well, the key is always customers. Customers want us to be in South Africa. The rest of the network needs us to be in South Africa. And so we're here because of the market opportunity that is available to us in South Africa.
In 2008, and again I allude to the fact that it was an interesting time that you actually came about to embark on expansion. Give us a sense of the mixture between the business that will be occurring in the emerging market space and the new operations relative to the developed market. Can one assume that there's going to be a rebalancing with regards to FedEx's assumptions going forward?
Well, if we look at FedEx Trade Networks, in 2008, our business was primarily North American business. So we had 70 locations in North America and Canada and the United States. And since then, as I mentioned before, we've expanded into 24 additional countries, 45 locations. So if I look at business mix, our revenue today for FedEx Trade Networks is split 50-50 between the North American operations and the operations outside of the United States.
And prior to the crisis, was it obviously 100% that predominantly came
well,
we
certainly had business that was international, but the vast majority of our business, because we didn't have the office network at that time, the owned office network, was business that was really located in the United States and Canada.
Did the crisis partly force you or perhaps push you to delve into the emerging market space more aggressively? Actually,
not really. I mean, the market was there, and again, the key is the customers. If we look at FedEx, our customers wanted us to be there based on globalization. And the other thing is this, the freight forwarding business is a $172 billion business. It's a very, very large business, a very fragmented business. So we looked at this market and we said, there's great opportunity for FedEx here and our customers want it. So every customer that uses FedEx Express also has freight forwarding business. So the available market for us is very, very large.
I'd like to delve slightly into the Middle East and Asia, and of course we know that that is where the predominant growth is coming through, where we're seeing it on a global level. Give us a sense of how that region is operating for you and whether you are starting to see increased demand, and you keep saying that it is about the customers. I'm sure that that area must be a growth hub for you.
Well, certainly. Asia is very significant for us. Our first operation we opened in 2008 was opened in Shanghai and then in Hong Kong. So Asia certainly continues to grow. We look to continue to make investments in Asia. Now there's a shift in Asia. Typically, if you look at China, you'll find that most everything was located around the coast. So recently we opened an office in Chengdu, which is really more in the center of China, and we look to expand more in those areas as manufacturing shifts from the coast of China into the center.
With regards to opening up more operations on the African continent, you alluded to the fact that South Africa is obviously very politically stable. It is viewed as a springboard into the rest of the African continent. Are you perhaps eyeing out East Africa or even the West African coast at some point as points of entry to the rest of the continent?
Well, again, at some point.
Yeah.
The first step is to build the operation here, establish, grow and develop this operation, and then as markets develop, we'll certainly look at other areas.
With regards to taking market share, because obviously there's a system that already exists in South Africa, what is the prognosis there?
Well, the prognosis is that if we're going to grow and build this business, that we're going to have to take market share away from competition. And when you look at when we started this in 2008, 2009, it was really in the recession. And we were not afraid to begin this business or begin this expansion during this period simply because of the large freight forwarding market.